Hey everybody, welcome to Fantasy R&R. This is your host Ryan,
And I'm Rob.
and this episode is Hold That Player.
This is Fantasy with Rob and Ryan. Fantasy R&R. All right, guys. Today we're going to be talking about players who you might be rostering or looking at rostering, and you're wondering, is this guy legit? Maybe you got somebody coming off the IL, and you have a very important decision to make in having to cut someone. Well, we're going to list off a team's worth of players that we believe you should be holding on to, and we're going to be starting at catcher, and a player that we've been talking about for quite some time now, Carson Kelly, Arizona Diamondbacks. This is last call for Carson Kelly. He's getting scooped up everywhere. Don't look like a fool with your pants on the ground and pick up Carson Kelly now before it's too late. This guy is raking. Again, this is a guy that Arizona went in the offseason, retooled his swing, and he's hitting for average, he is hitting for power, and even just yesterday was hitting cleanup. Yes, that's right. Catcher batting leadoff.
Now, I just want to make a point that, he's had a couple of no-hit games over the past 2 weeks. That's pretty normal for catchers in the first place. But for all you people out there that do own him, you may have noticed 3 homers in the last week. So he's definitely a power swinger right now. And we're going to say you got to know when to hold him.
That's right, cue this song.
You got to know when to hold up, know when to fold up.
Let's get into first base. Ryan, who are we looking at here, bud?
All right, at first base, looks like we're going to be going with Jesus Aguilar.
Yes, first baseman for the Miami Marlins has been crushing the ball lately. He's been doing this for some time now with this year. Miami Marlins offense has been subpar at best, but he could end up being a really solid hold. First base is pretty deep, but, good utility player. If you already have a good first baseman, hold on to Jesus Aguilar. Earlier today, when we were going through this list, Ryan and I had came up with the exact same second baseman. Ryan, I'm going to let you take on to Mr. Kolten Wong.
Yeah, Kolten Wong, one of those guys that you might say was in the Wong place at the Wong time.
Bingo.
The last couple of years, but seems to be picking it up. I had him as kind of like somebody I would just take off the bench when my other player didn't have a game last season. What are you looking at in terms of his stats right now and his outlook for the future?
Well, as you had said with that perfectly placed pun, Kolten Wong was a big prospect with the St. Louis Cardinals, was always known for his glove, a little bit of pop, a little bit of speed. When he landed in Milwaukee, a nice ballpark to be hitting in for him, and he's taken advantage of it as of late, and this is exactly what I was expecting going into this season. I had him rostered and dropped him a little prematurely, and now he's going off, so I say stay with it. Kolten
You could
Wong.
say stay with me.
Cue the song. Stay with me. All right, let's go.
And I want to go ahead and lead us off into this next
Yes,
guy.
please.
The Cronenworth who gives us the Bonenworth.
There it
I want
is.
you to tell us about our favorite player of this season and a little bit of last year too. So this season, Cronenworth starting to go on a little bit of a cold streak, but you still believe in him, right?
Yes, that's right. Jake Cronenworth, he kind of stumbled there for a little bit, but good power speed combo kind of guy. Is going to hit for average. The average is going to start climbing back up. Anybody that's yielding a bat for San Diego right now, you have to roster in all fantasy. That lineup is just ridiculous. Hit a pinch hit home run yesterday, so the power is going to come around. Hold on to Cronenworth. Don't second guess it in a lot of leagues too. He's multiple position eligibility, which is always a great play for anybody. Again, especially when it comes from somebody playing in San Diego.
So this one's going to probably hit close to home for you.
Yes.
You just had a little bit of a run-in with this next player. Third base, we're going to be talking about Austin Riley.
Yes, this is the reason why I'd even thought about maybe doing something like this for a podcast. I had Anthony Rendon. I was rostering Austin Riley there for a while. I had a nice little streak over the weekend, back-to-back games with home runs. I dropped Austin Riley, and yesterday he goes 4 for 5, 2 runs, a home run, and 2 RBIs. So yes, I cried myself asleep. I'm a real man to be able to admit to that. Austin Riley seems to be a patient hitter. That's right, you heard it. He just has this patient approach to the game. In the offseason, the Atlanta Braves had hired Atlanta Brave All-Star Hall of Famer Chipper Jones, and it looks as if Chipper Jones has gotten into Riley's ear. Riley's had the power, hasn't had the patience. Now suddenly it looks like patience is creeping up into his game. If you got Austin Riley or see him on the waiver wire, pick this guy up. The Braves lineup from top to bottom, very similar to that of the Padres. Very, very good. We believe this guy is making it happen.
All right, it is time to dig deep because the outfield is a deep position. Once again, the loneliest place in Little League. Take us through our first outfielder, Rob.
Yeah, as we said, we're digging really deep. We're looking at a couple guys here, 25% or below owned. Looking, maybe 12, 14-man leagues. You have a couple utility spots open. Tyler O'Neill is a guy who has always had a very intriguing blend of power and speed for the St. Louis Cardinals. They had kind of messed around with him in the outfield for the last couple years. He has a full-time gig this year. Don't forget about this guy. Just got back from it was like a minor groin injury. Has already hit 3 home runs, stole a base, had a big game yesterday. In replace of Austin Riley's production, I went and snagged Tyler O'Neill, trying to get ahead of the curve here. Again, the Cardinals' very good lineup. Tyler O'Neill could be a guy who's on the up that nobody's really paying attention to right now. Don't be that person.
All right, so that's just one of our 3 outfielders. Next guy we're going to go over real quick is Willie Calhoun. Take us through this.
Yes, Willie Calhoun, again, a guy a couple years ago, came up with the Dodgers, was a big prospect, got traded to Texas, and if I'm not mistaken, I want to say it was about 2 years ago, guy slammed, I think it was about 18 home runs in half of a season. Extrapolate that, you're looking at a 30-plus home run guy. Well, he got hit in the jaw last year, pretty scary sight, and looked to have wrecked his season last year, albeit only being 2 months. Well, he's back, had an injury in spring training. He's leading off for Texas. I always love leadoff hitters whenever it comes to fantasy. And he's got a hit in every game since he's come back. Again, another guy just to pay attention to. A lot of people, I'm sure, have forgotten about Willie Calhoun. Once again, don't be one of these guys and at least put him on the watch list. At least do that with all these guys that we're talking about right now, especially in the outfield being so deep.
All right, this last outfielder, Nick Senzel on Cincinnati, yesterday went 4 for 4.
Yes.
With a stolen bagger, I believe.
That's
so,
right, yeah.
A couple of hitless games before that, but the rest of his team absolutely blew it yesterday. So, today being the 29th. Rob, take us through this guy.
Yeah, this was another guy in spring training. Actually, to go back even a little further, he's been a top prospect for Cincinnati for some time now. Had been nicked up with injuries the last few years, but just yesterday, as you had said, 4 for 4, had a stolen base, but was most impressive, he's up to leadoff. He's batting leadoff for Cincinnati yet again. Love leadoff hitters. Just to push it just a little further, the whole Reds team in a whole had a hard time with Clayton Kershaw, go figure, but Nick Senzel. So something happened here. Could potentially be. A lot of people I know dropped him earlier this year after a strong spring. Look to see. I would not be shocked if he's sitting there on a lot of waiver wires. Go get him now.
All right, and we are generous enough to add a utility slot in here for you guys. This is going to be normally a first baseman, Kansas City Royals, Carlos Santana, who's getting eaten up in every league I'm in. People are starting to pick him up. He's now 65% rostered in Yahoo, up 5% from the last week. On a 4-game hit streak, also had 3 runs yesterday. So this guy's starting to get hot. So if you got him on your team, this is somebody you want to hold. Anything you want to add on him?
No, I've always loved Carlos Santana. Had a shit year last year, but who didn't? Hitting in the meat of that lineup in Kansas City. Air's just going to get more thin. Go get him now.
All right, this is an impressive pickup from the last couple of weeks. Rob has mentioned to you guys in our waiver ad episodes to go after him. JT Brubaker of the Pittsburgh Pirates is having some good outings. Rob, I want you to take us through him.
Yeah, again, another guy that might be slow. People are slow to pick up because he plays for Pittsburgh. He's a pitcher. Starting pitchers, if they're going to pitch, they're going to pitch. This guy is reminding me so much of Tyler Glasnow and Garrett Cole coming up through Pittsburgh's organization. Get this guy before it's too late. One of the most indicative, categories for a pitcher is whip. This guy's whip is super low. He's not giving up a lot of hits, not giving up a lot of walks. It's a great start to this guy. His last outing was against Minnesota, Minnesota's blowing everyone away, but JT Brubaker had a tough luck loss there. Believe only giving up 2 runs in 7 innings, 5 strikeouts. I mean, you can't ask much more for a starting pitcher.
All right, this next guy, very controversial drop and pickup for me, but guys, this was a incredibly shallow league, so it's not crazy. I dropped Ohtani for Duffy, so hold me closer, Tiny Danny here. He has been rostered 15% more over the past week and is having an incredible season for a veteran. Rob, tell us about him.
Yeah, yet again, another Kansas City Royal who's doing some damage here. Duffy has done this a few years now. He's tantalizing. Has always kind of had the makeup to be a good starting pitcher. Has even gone on streaks where it looked like he was, rosterable in all formats. Well, it seems as if this year something's gotten into him. Kansas City's going to score runs. We were talking about this, I believe, in the very first podcast we did, and it's proving so. Kansas City is right now the best record in the American League. Can't make that up. Look at Danny Duffy. A lot of arms are going down left and right. I know Marco Gonzalez just went on the IL with left forearm strain. That's never a good sign. You're looking for somebody to make up for Marco Gonzalez, who, mind you, was underperforming. Danny Duffy is a great get right now.
All right, let's move on to relieving pitchers here. Now, Rob, what's interesting about this is a couple of our baseball podcasts ago, you had mentioned how you're just not real big on drafting relief pitchers real high. You don't feel like they return their value. This guy might be somebody that people are a little underwhelmed by, right? Raisel Iglesias, closer for the Angels. He was having a terrible start to the season, high ERA. Looks like he's finally starting to get some saves. So this is somebody we want to hold on to for the foreseeable future now, right?
Yeah, I would strongly recommend, he's kind of one of those guys, especially with relief pitching, and we've had podcasts before about just people making rash decisions early. This might have been one guy who somebody just said, after a couple rough, bad outings, they drop him. Look to see if he's available. Hey, maybe you could even, this could even be a guy you get on the cheap. Maybe somebody's a little down on him. They need a position of need. I say target Raisel Iglesias. I think the Angels now, especially back to full health with Rendon, you got some guy named Mike Trout, and Ohtani right now. They're going to win a lot of games, and closers on good winning teams only make for, great relief pitching, getting to get plenty of saves and or holds. I say go get Raisel Iglesias.
All right, and to finish off our podcast today, we're going to go with Josh Staumont. Tell us all about him.
Yeah, again, we're jumping on the Kansas City train pretty hardcore in this podcast, and Josh Staumont looks like he could be the guy in Kansas City to own for saves. If our prediction's right, and the Royals are going to sit here and run away with the AL Central, not a lot of people were thinking about it, but it's happening right now as it stands 1 month into this season. I don't see it slowing down anytime soon, and if this guy's the closer, he's got electric stuff, high strikeout rate, stuff you always love to see with closers. Josh Staumont has been picked up in a lot of leagues, but I believe is still under 50%. Go see if he's available, and go get him.
All right, guys, so that's going to do it for our Hold That Player series here. A lot of guys that you want to take a look at and can reconsider if you're going to drop them. If you already did, go back out on the waiver wire, see if you can claim them again. Probably won't get this episode up and finished before the draft tonight, but if I do, hope everybody enjoys the NFL draft. It's going to be a doozy. For now, this was Fantasy R&R with Rob and Ryan. We'll see you next time.
Duval.